welcome. This is Melissa Armour with Stock Swoosh, and I am going to talk today about something that I should have done a video on 6-7 months ago, and I just haven't had time. But I'm going to do a video on it now because a second person recently told me about something where, well, this is the new thing. I get solicited on the same email list as everybody else because I go to these webinars, I participate in these different events. And once I do, then my email list gets transferred onto these other people who are soliciting other things to people. So different companies now are selling, okay, as a product and an account, which people are calling a prop account. When I say a prop account, that's not what I mean, which I'll clarify later. But anyways, long story short, people are now selling these prop accounts. Some of them are cheap, some of them are expensive, but they're selling them as a way where you can reach certain benchmarks, and if you do, you get to trade the firm's capital, or so they're saying, okay? Usually the benchmarks are so difficult, so impossible, no one ever reaches them. Or if someone does, they're never on it for long because if they drop back off, then they're underneath the benchmark. I don't want to say these things are scammy, but yeah, some of them are scammy. Why? Because again, they're collecting a fee from someone. They're basically charging a fee from someone to basically do what they're saying is trade a live account. I can't verify if those accounts are live or not. That's number one. And I'm not sure you could either. But it's a fee generated thing. So people need to know that. I had a person tell me last year, and I was very upset because the person should have talked to me before they signed up for this. The person was a client, and they had done it several times. I think they spent over $5,000 in fees where they thought they were basically paying to get these accounts. They could have put $5,000 into a prop account, a real prop account, which I'll explain in a minute, and traded their own money. Instead, they paid $1,000 for this and $1,500 for this and $1,000 for this, and they never met the benchmarks in the time, so they had to keep paying the fee, keep paying the fee, keep paying the fee. So if you've never heard of this, again, it's where people are saying that they're trading the firm's money, and if they reach certain benchmarks, then they get the profits after that. Again, I can't verify if that's true or not. Some places may just be saying it's not about trading the firm's money, but if you reach the benchmarks in a demo, then you can trade the firm's money. Again, I can't verify the authenticity of that or not. I will tell you, though, that I'm never going to be involved in anything like that whatsoever at all. Again, I'm not saying it's scammy, but to me it sounds scammy, and I'm an educational firm. I educate people. I teach people my method. That's what I do. I'm not a broker. I'm not going to pretend to be a broker. I'm not setting up demo accounts for people. I'm not, I'm not charging fees for fake accounts or whatever. Again, if the place isn't a broker, okay, there's no way that they could be trading live money. That's a fact. So even these places, again, here when I say prop, that's what I was going to say. When I say a prop account is where you go to a place and you deposit money. If it's less than $25,000, okay, then which $25,000 is a minimum at a retail firm to trade on margin, which would be 4-to-1 margin, which you go to any retail broker. If you go to a prop place, okay, and you deposit your own money and you get more than 4-to-1 margin, say it's 10-to-1 margin, that's what I mean by prop, and you have to deposit your own money, and you're trading on a higher margin because there's a risk manager at that broker. It's still a broker that is assigned to making sure you don't go over that margin and you go over your cash, okay? Usually you cannot take overnights in a setting like that. Some allow it, but it's very risky. And they say you're trading the firm's capital because you're trading more to 4-to-1 margin, but they still have a risk manager there that's cutting you off after a certain amount. Why? Because that place, again, still has an account, okay, and they still have an account at a clearing firm where they have to have a certain amount of money where they're not getting 10-to-1. So they have to manage the buying power all day long during market hours. Again, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I'm not going to talk about it an hour about this today. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. But that place still is within the normal margin requirements anyways. That's why they have the risk managers that manage people. Like they may have a stop limit order at $1,000, where if you set up an account with $5,000, they stop you out at $1,000 because they're not going to let you lose the whole $5,000. And also because they have certain risk parameters because they still at the clearing firm have an account like a normal broker, if that makes any sense. And then the risk manager manages all the risk of all the buying power that's being allotted to all the people that are trading with them if they're all trading with 10-to-1. But again, I cannot verify the authenticity of any of these types of accounts that are out there, but I know that they're exploding like wildfire because I'm getting solicited by them and I'm hearing more stories, and I've never heard a good story. Never heard one good story about them. And again, you know, a long time ago, after I figured out what I was doing, after I was trading, after I figured out what I was doing, before I even started the business, when I started trading, I traded my own money. I always traded my own money. But at the very beginning, after I figured out what I was doing, someone was trying to talk me into doing something like this. This was so long ago. This was before the licensing and everything that they're requiring to set up the accounts in the U.S. Someone was trying to talk me into doing something similar to this, and then I thought about it and I said, well, no, why would I do that? And then they take a percentage of your profits, and I thought, well, no, why would I do that? Again, this was before these exploded. I'm talking like more than 10 years ago. Could be 15 years ago. The idea was to trade somebody else's money, and then they take a percentage. But then I thought and then you had to meet certain requirements, which I would have been able to do at that time. But anyways, I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. And this is the same thing now. If the requirement is you have to make $10,000, I'm just making this up because all these things are different. It's like, okay, well, say I make $10,000 on this account, but then I wouldn't get the $10,000. So then that doesn't make any sense. So then why do it? Like, do you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense. So the bottom line is, if you want to go on a demo, practice on a demo for a week or a month, or till you get it down, till you figure out what you want to do, till you have the cash to trade. If you're trying to trade somebody else's money, again, I can't verify if these places are really trading money or not, or if they're all demos and all fake accounts. But if you would have to make XYZ amount of money before you get, funded live with them or could take the profits out, you wasted your time, which in some cases is weeks and months. And again, I've never heard a story where anyone's ever taken any money out of any of these things, which is why I'm saying they could be scammy. And while I'll never be involved with anything about this ever, it's a fee-based thing for companies or charging a fee. That's how you have to look at it if you do it. You can trade in a demo for free, and it's not going to cost you a fee. You can't do it forever, though. Usually places have a amount of time. You can only be in a demo for a certain amount of time. Then you got to open up a live account, which is what you should do anyways. But anyways, if you're working and you're making $10,000, $8,000, whatever it is to meet the requirements, why wouldn't you want the cash? If you really made that money trading, taking trades, taking good quality trades, you wouldn't get it if you were in somebody else's, in somebody else's system or whatever these things are called. Or they're called prop, but to me it's not prop. Okay. But anyways, and then I never did what that person was offering me at the time, because I said, if I could make 10 grand doing this, I want the 10 grand. And I'm not going to make 10 grand and then not get the 10 grand. It's a waste of my time. I'd be working for somebody else. So if these places are real, if you find a place that's real and you pay the fee, then you're working for somebody else to meet the benchmarks at that point anyways. So you're basically working for free. So what's the point? What's the benefit of it? There isn't. Long story short, be very careful with these things, because I've heard nothing but horror stories about it. Some of them are cheap, some of them are expensive. I don't even know if they're real accounts. Real money is what I'm saying to you. And I don't know if there's any way for you to check anyways. The only way you know if something's real is if you open up an account with a legitimate brokerage firm. That's it. And when I'm saying a prop brokerage firm, that's what I mean, where you must deposit your own money to trade it. And there was something else I was going to say too about this. I know. They make the parameters extremely difficult for the reason that I don't think they ever want to fund anyone. They want to keep collecting the fee from people. So you got to know that too. So like if someone comes and decides to take my class, they get charged a fee. They take the class. After they pay, they get what they pay for. They learn the system in the class. If I happen to do a subscription, like where I'm offering the trading room, you have to do the Golden Gap course in order to sign up for the trading room subscription. Again, that is something you pay for. You get the subscription for a year. Same thing with the options newsletter. You pay for the options newsletter subscription. You get the subscription. You're going to get what you pay for with me. that's it. It's not, I'm, collecting the fee, collecting the fee, collecting the fee, collecting the fee. You pay for 1 year, you get the 1 year subscription. If the year comes up, you decide you want to renew, you renew. If you don't, you don't. So again, somebody pays for a class, they sign up for a class, they do it once. That's it. That's it. These types of, fee-based things people are doing all over the place now. Again, you gotta be careful. You might think this is something fabulous and great. There is no shortcut. There is no anything that's fabulous and great. Usually the parameters are so difficult, you're never going to meet them. You're wasting your time and you're wasting your money, whether the fee is cheap, even if it's $50 a month you pay. It's a waste of $600 a year that you wasted, an entire year where you just could have traded on a demo and not paid $600. So I don't care if it's cheap or expensive, and in some cases they are expensive, where people are getting this much buying power, paying thousands of dollars to get this much buying power, and they never meet the requirements, and they're just waste their time and waste their money, and they could take their own money and open up a real account and trade. And you could trade options actually with an account with $2,000. You can open up an options account at a retail broker. So again, I'm never going to do anything like this. Never. It is a disaster as far as I'm concerned. I stay in my lane of what I'm good at, teaching, education, again, looking at the gaps, analyzing things, reading what's happening, but overall, there are places that are not brokers, okay, that are selling this stuff, and some of it is junk, and you need to know what's going on out there, and you need to be aware of it. And again, I just heard a recent story, and I said I gotta do a video on this finally to help people, because almost everyone is out there selling it now. I don't, and I never will. So be careful. Open up your own account. Practice if you don't have the money yet in a demo. And that is my advice to you. Good luck, and I'll see you when I see you.